Congressman Bereuter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gentlemen, thank you for your testimony and for your responses to questions and your public service. In the short time I have available here, I'd like to focus on the future on the basis of the information we know about what has happened. Director Mueller, I'll start with you just as a follow-up to Congressman Peterson's question, because you made reference to a misinterpretation of the statute by the FBI attorneys related to foreign powers. That was unfortunate. It was probably not crucial because of a link that otherwise had not been established. But in any case, my question to you is whether or not the lawyers and agents across the country now understand the full definition of what is a foreign power, so that a FISA determination looks more possible under the two elements in the definition of a foreign power.
Yes, we've had training sessions. We also have sent out what we call electronic communications to clarify those issues. I will also say the Patriot Act is exceptionally helpful in enabling us to utilize that tool in ways we have not done in the past.
Good.
And we also, there is those of us who have done this work in the past know that when you get a criminal warrant, you generally go to an assistant United States attorney in the various district and then go right to the judge there. So you have the assistant United States attorney, the lawyers working with the agents. Part of the problem with the FISA process is there's a FISA court that sits here in Washington, D.C. And consequently, in putting together the package for the FISA court, you have to get the information for the field and meld that information with the knowledge of the court and the procedures of the court back at headquarters, and then get the package up to this court. And what we are trying to do is expedite that process by taking out some of the middle people that may not fully understand all of the aspects of the FISA court, to make the process go swifter and to assure that we eliminate, to the extent possible, any room for misinterpretation of what is required under the statute.
I think those are very important changes, and I'm glad to hear of them. Director Tenet, do you favor the Homeland Security Department, which we hope will be established, sharing in the tasking of foreign intelligence collections on threats facing the homeland?
Well, I think as a customer, we naturally will take analytical tasking and whatever help the Homeland Security Department needs. We will treat them the way we treat all of our senior customers. So once we get into this back and forth, they'll be the recipients of our product in the morning. They'll be able to come back to us and say, can you help us with this and this? Can you do a piece of work on this and how it might apply in the homeland? We will naturally do that with them.
I think that's a good accommodation, but it does seem to me that there are cases where the requirements of the Homeland Security, or certainly the priorities on them, might be different than they are for the Central Intelligence Agency or the Department of Defense or the FBI. And I would hope that maybe the Senate will do what the House failed to do and give them a seat at the tasking table when it comes to foreign, I emphasize foreign, intelligence collection. And in fact, I offered that to our Rules Committee to make an order. I'd like to turn to you, General Hayden. And I recognize what you had to say on pages 9 through 10 of your testimony, which relates to your predecessor, for example, in the 70s, and the message he got here from that Congress at that time. But we've learned that NSA, apparently for policy reasons, decided not to target international communications of individual foreign persons in the USA intentionally, even though it would have been possible, it appears, to obtain approval under FISA for such collections. Why did the NSA adopt that policy, General?
No, we do get FISAs, but you're right. There are several classes, I'll use the word targets, in which we would pursue a FISA, and there are others in which we would turn that over to the FBI. A couple of reasons. One is, as you've alluded to before, the history of the agency suggests it needs to exercise great care in what it does within the United States of America. Beyond that, though, no matter who would get the warranted collection, in this case NSA or FBI, you would create a seam between two organizations. If we were to get the FISA, the warranted collection for a protected person inside the United States, we would close the seam between our information gained from SIGINT internally and the information we would get externally through our normal processes. That seam would be very tight. But the seam would be quite wide between the SIGINT information being gained about that individual and the other information that would be gained by the FBI through all their other tools. You've got to make a call, and I think in general the call is accept the seam between what I'll call domestically derived and SIGINT derived from overseas, so as to put all the information you're getting about this person inside the United States into one basket under an FBI rubric, so that all the tools being used to gain information about this target,
including your assets?
And then, when asked by the FBI, and this is commonplace, the FBI would ask us for technical support, but the action would be carried out under their authorities.
Thank you. My time has expired, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Congressman.